Wole Soyinka, the Nigerian Nobel Prize winning author, a global voice for truth, freedom, and justice, recently revealed something that has caught the attention of people around the world. His non-resident visa to enter the United States has been rejected, and according to him, this decision may be linked to his outspoken criticism of former US President Donald Trump. It's not just a story about a visa. It's a story about freedom of expression, about the relationship between power and dissent, and about how the world watches America's actions with both hope and disappointment. Soyinka is not just another writer. He is one of the most respected voices in literature, a man who fought for democracy in Nigeria, who faced imprisonment and exile, and who has dedicated his life to defending human rights. When a man like this says he's being silenced, the world listens. He recently expressed his deep concern, saying that the rejection felt political, a quiet message that those who criticize powerful figures are not welcome. Whether or not this is officially true, it raises serious questions. Should a country that has always called itself the land of freedom and democracy deny entry to one of the world's greatest literary voices simply because he spoke his mind? Soyinka has never been afraid to speak truth to power. During Nigeria's darkest years, when military dictators ruled with fear, he used his pen as his weapon. His words became symbols of resistance and hope. So, when he criticizes political figures, even in other countries, it comes from a place of conscience, not malice. But the response he received shows something deeper. A world where power seems increasingly intolerant of criticism. America has long been a symbol of liberty. Its constitution protects free speech, and for decades, it has presented itself as a champion of democracy around the globe. But actions like this, if indeed politically motivated, send the opposite message. When an intellectual, especially a Nobel laureate, faces barriers for speaking freely, it suggests that even the most open societies are growing uncomfortable with dissenting voices. For millions around the world, America has always been a place of dreams, a place where people believe that truth and justice can coexist. Students, artists, scientists, and thinkers have all looked to the United States as a beacon of opportunity. But when someone like Soyinka, who has dedicated his entire life to promoting intellectual freedom, is denied entry, it shakes that image. It makes people wonder if America is still the same land of liberty it claims to be. Soyinka's supporters have reacted with disappointment and anger. Many believe that rejecting his visa is not just an insult to him, but to the global community of thinkers, artists, and human rights defenders who believe in open dialogues. In an age where social media amplifies voices both big and small, such actions are never isolated. They echo worldwide. The idea that a government could use its immigration system to quietly punish dissenters is something that should alarm everyone, not just Americans. Because when one nation starts silencing critical voices, others follow. Soyinka himself has taken the situation with a calm dignity that reflects his wisdom. He said he was not surprised, but deeply saddened, because the United States was once a country he admired for its openness. He recalled how he had been visiting America for decades, giving lectures, teaching, and meeting with students who were inspired by his work. To suddenly be told he cannot enter, a man who has enriched so many American minds, feels like a betrayal of values. It's not just about politics. It's about the soul of democracy itself. When we start to choose who can speak based on what they say, when visas become tools of silence, the world loses a bit of its freedom. Soyinka's rejection also highlights a larger global issue. Across many countries, we're seeing a rise in intolerance for opposing views. Writers, journalists, and thinkers are being targeted for expressing their opinions. From Europe to Asia to Africa, the space for open dialogue is shrinking. And when the United States, the supposed leader of the free world, participates in this silencing, even indirectly, it sets a dangerous example. Americans need to understand that their actions reach far beyond their borders. When they uphold freedom, they inspire the world. When they suppress it, they discourage millions. That's why this story is not just about a visa. It's about the message it sends to the next generation. What kind of world are we building if even Nobel laureates can be punished for speaking truth? What hope does that leave for the young writer in Lagos, the student in Karachi, or the activist in Hong Kong who dreams of a freer world? The rejection of Soyinka's visa may seem like a small bureaucratic decision, but its symbolic weight is enormous. It represents the fear of powerful voices, the insecurity of leaders who cannot bear criticism. But history teaches us that silencing truth-tellers never works. The more you suppress truth, the louder it becomes. Soyinka's story is now reaching millions, and people everywhere are asking questions. Why would a country known for welcoming thinkers now close its doors to one? What is the United States afraid of? Is it the truth that disturbs them, or the courage of those who speak it? For Soyinka, this moment will not stop him. His life has been full of obstacles, yet he continues to write, teach, and inspire. Perhaps this rejection will become another chapter in his long struggle for intellectual freedom, a reminder that the fight for truth is never over. And for the rest of us, this story should serve as a wake-up call. Freedom is fragile. It needs protection, not from enemies abroad, but from fear within. America, the world is watching. The values you built your reputation on, liberty, justice, and equality, must not just be words. They must be lived. Because when a nation of freedom becomes selective about who deserves that freedom, it risks losing its moral authority. Wole Soyinka's story is not just his own. It's a reflection of where we all stand as humanity, between fear and courage, silence and truth. The question is, which side will we choose? The answer will define not only America's legacy, but the future of free speech for generations to come. In reflecting on this situation, it's also worth remembering the deeper human emotions that may lie behind such political gestures. No one, not even the most powerful leaders, is free from pride or sensitivity to criticism. Donald Trump, during his presidency, was often outspoken about his belief that he deserved the Nobel Peace Prize for his diplomatic efforts. He publicly expressed disappointment when that recognition did not come his way. But perhaps the true spirit of the Nobel Prize is not about who demands it the loudest, but who serves humanity the most selflessly. The Nobel Prize has always been more than a medal. It's a symbol of peace, humility, and the power of ideas that uplift rather than divide. Wole Soyinka's award in literature was not for power or politics, but for the truth in his words, the honesty of his art, and the courage to speak for those who cannot. These are qualities that transcend nations, politics, and time. When someone, like Soyinka, is treated unfairly, it feels as though the world is forgetting what the Nobel stands for: the celebration of human conscience. If a leader feels disappointed for not receiving a prize, the answer should not be resentment or retaliation, but reflection. Greatness is not proven by recognition, but by restraint. And the most honorable leaders are those who can rise above criticism with dignity. It is possible that Trump's frustration over not achieving a Nobel Peace Prize may have added a shadow of tension in how he viewed intellectual critics. But that should never become a reason to close doors on dialogue. True leadership lies in listening, not silencing. America, in its best moments, has always been a nation that valued conversation, even disagreement. That is what made it strong. Its willingness to hear different voices and still move forward united. The rejection of Soyinka's visa, if indeed connected to his past criticism of Trump's, sends a message that contradicts that legacy. When a world leader or a system of power begins to see dissent as disloyalty, the entire foundation of democracy shakes. The real strength of any nation, especially one that leads the world, comes from its ability to embrace opposing voices without fear. History remembers those who chose dialogue over division, compassion over ego. When Abraham Lincoln faced harsh criticism, he did not close his doors to his opponents. When Martin Luther King Jr. called for justice, he spoke to the conscience of leaders, not their pride. America's moral power was built on these principles, on the idea that respect for humanity matters more than political sensitivity. If a Nobel laureate like Soyinka is kept out for speaking his truth, then perhaps it is time to ask what kind of message the world's most influential democracy wants to send. A person does not need a Nobel Prize to earn respect. Respect is earned through character, empathy, and the ability to uplift others, even those who disagree. In that sense, Wole Soyinka remains a true ambassador of human dignity. His words continue to inspire, his actions continue to educate, and his humility continues to teach us that wisdom is greater than power. Maybe, instead of viewing such voices as threats, leaders everywhere should see them as mirrors. Mirrors that reflect not their failures, but their potential for growth. The Nobel Prize is not a competition of ego. It is a reminder of shared humanity. Leaders who truly seek peace do not chase awards. They create conditions that make peace possible. That is what history rewards in the end. So if Donald Trump or Anwar